So we have this couple who traveled from the United States to Canada, and they're getting dragged because clearly they didn't know that Canada was a different country. Take a look.
First and foremost, I did not know that this was an international flight. Why is miles per hour here in kilometers? I think they speak French because there's a lot of French things translated in French or something like that. I don't even know. The accent's a little different. In regards to the whole Canada thing, I genuinely was like, okay, Canada is located in North America, so I'm thinking maybe it's a U.S. territory because we share the border and everything else like that. That's why I was in it. It was a spontaneous kind of thing. We did the itinerary, and the itinerary also included the historical tour. So no, I'm not gonna do research about a country for real because I'm doing the historical tour.
Obviously, my baby here didn't know that Canada wasn't part of the U.S., and that's fine. We've been in the United States for a very long time, and coming to a whole different country was very different.
So clearly they're very confused, okay? First of all, aside from thinking that Canada was part of the United States and not knowing this was an international flight, okay? They also were confused about the fact that we run off kilometers instead of miles here. So, when you're driving your car, it's kilometers as opposed to miles. They also were confused about the fact that French was the second language. So the bilingualism was English and French in Canada as opposed to English and Spanish in the United States. I mean, they were just confused about everything. But the biggest issue that people had, which they ran over to the common field and just lambasted them, was the fact that they thought that Canada was part of the United States. And then, as you can hear, Sis is doubling down and talking about, well, we came here for a historical trip, we weren't going to look into all of that. Excuse me, but if you're traveling anywhere, you should always educate yourself, do your research. But more importantly, okay, Canada and United States are on the same continent, which is North America, but they are two totally different countries. And the fact that they didn't know that, I just, it's beyond to me. It's beyond. But people are saying, as a result of this couple and their confusion, that this just certifies that Black Americans are unintelligent and all this other stuff. One thing I want to also point out is they're actually Ghanaian, but they've been living in the United States for a very, very long time. So I guess this was their first time coming to Canada. No excuse. As far as I'm concerned, they could be Ghanaian living in the United States. They can be Black Americans. No excuse. They're getting dragged because they did not know something that is very commonly known. But I don't think that you have to paint all Black Americans with the same brush and say they're all unintelligent and what have you. There's just a lot of people who have never traveled outside of the United States or any other country for that matter. So they don't take the time to educate themselves. But this here, to me personally, is common knowledge. I mean, the first time I went to the United States, I knew it was a different country. It never, occurred to me that, oh, the United States is part of Canada. Like, no, that's just common knowledge. But I digress. As far as miles versus kilometers, Celsius versus Fahrenheit, I mean, these are all things that are easily convertible, and it's not something to be so confused by. Seriously. Potato, potato. Really. So, in any event, this is what's happening here with this couple. But unfortunately, it's like Peter paid for Paul and Paul pays for all. So everybody in the United States that's Black is now, not smart. And I don't agree with that. All I will say to this couple, you would have been better off not coming back on camera and doubling down on this. You would have been better off just saying, you know what? I did not educate myself better. So, my bad. Or don't even say anything at all. Leave it alone. But to come back on and say, oh, well, we didn't do all that research. We didn't do all that. It sounds even worse. You're literally 6 feet under and you're just continuing to dig. So don't do that. Don't. All I will say again, everybody, just educate yourself about the country you're going to. Period. There are so many resources now. There's no excuse. Okay? None. None, none, none. But family, let me know what you think about this couple and, their confusion about Canada not being international, an international flight, and Canada not being a different country, drop your comments in the chat. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app from your Google or Apple store and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Emma Ansa Unfiltered. Until next time, please be safe.